Welcome back to the revolution. Welcome to Gemini season. Ooh, I'm speaking to you from behind a wall of flowers. All right, so here we go. I have some notes here that I am referring to because there is just so much going on. Let's start with the fact that at the end of May, on the 26th, which is in a couple of days, we have this lunar eclipse in Sagittarius. From there to June 10th is eclipse season, because on June 10th we have a solar eclipse in Gemini. That solar eclipse is a door between worlds. So the time in between is for you to get ready to walk through that door between worlds. What you take with you, it will hearken you back to what was going on in your life in February. So if you were going through a hard time, that is what you're going to be working through. The Saturn-Uranus square is going to accentuate that, but we'll get to that in a second. One of the things that you have at your disposal now to help you with this transition into a new mind is this intuition. It's so heightened, right? So we have Jupiter in Pisces, which is making everybody's sixth sense a little bit more powerful. For some of you who are already really keyed in, you can almost feel overwhelmed, like you're not sure which one is more active, your waking life or your dream life, and they seem to mesh together. Around the solar eclipse on the 10th, you'll really feel this. On the 11th of June, we have Mars moving into Leo. In your readings by sign, this is going to come up every time because it's such a shift, right? So Mars in Cancer has been sneaky. It does what it needs to do, but it moves, sideways, and it doesn't come at you straight on. As soon as Mars moves into Leo, there is going to be this tendency to be really, really stubborn and to pounce on things. We are so sure that we know what we're talking about. We're so sure of what is going on, even when we don't have all the information. So even though your intuition is stronger, you still have to be careful. Like, what are you listening to? Are you listening to your ego, or are you listening to your intuition? And how do you tell the difference? As a Gemini, let me clue you in here. Your ego is super loud. It's going to shout and scream until you listen. It's a bit paranoid. It's always worried that someone is out to get it. Your intuition is super quiet. It's whisper quiet. It's a passing thought. And once you don't, as soon as it flies through your mind, if you don't grab it, it's gone. And then you'll remember it again when it's too late, like when you should have done the thing already. And then you're in that situation. The situation that I always bring up is like something tells you, I should put that safety pin in my bag, but it's just this passing thought and it doesn't really make sense. And then later that day, someone's like, I really need a safety pin. And you're like, oh, I should have just put that in my bag. So it's like that. So your intuition is a lot stronger, but your ego is also heightened. So this interplay is going to be difficult to navigate. And just remember what I said about listening to that quiet voice. Also, the thing with Mars and Leo is that we really are inspired by the good life. We want the good life. We want, roses and cakes and lounging in the sun and, excess in terms of the things that make us relax and feel good. And after the term that we've been through, especially with so many difficult transitions in Taurus season, it's a welcome change. So embrace it. You do want to relax more. You do want to go out more. You do want to see people more. You want to do the things that make you feel good and help you relax and take you out of this day-to-day drudgery. So find your pleasure. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, let's talk about that Saturn-Uranus square. It's huge. And according to sign, we're going to go through that in a minute. It's going to affect different areas of your life. But the point being that wherever in February you seem to get stuck, whatever you were dealing with in February, and then as soon as February was over, you're like, oh, I'm so glad I won't have to deal with that again. Yeah, you're going to have to deal with it again. Sorry. So instead of being able to wish it away or ignore it until it goes away, Now it's time to actually deal with it and change things. And these are huge changes that you'll be making. And they're just tying up those loose ends from February. Also, that Saturn-Uranus square, it does create a lot of political pressure. So you can already see that, you know, manifesting in our world. It will make it much more intense. This will intensify things. So be ready to, you know, if you're someone who ingests a lot of news and watches a lot of political shows, just realize that you're going to be inundated with a lot of stuff. So you may want to dial that back a little. You know, just how much you take in. Of course, be informed. Obviously, it's your job to be informed. But, you know, don't overdo it, is what I'm saying. Now let's talk about all these retrogrades. Okay, so these are dates that you probably want to write down. From the 23rd of May to the 21st of October, Saturn goes retrograde. So what does that mean? That means that for most of us, this slows down our money. It slows down our productivity. It makes us really tired, especially for Capricorns, for Cancers, and for Aquarians. Then from June 20th to October 21st, Jupiter goes retrograde. So this is going to affect your energy as well. It's also going to affect these big plans that you're making from now until June 20th. As much as you can get done until the 20th, do it. Rethink your long-term plans is what I have written down. So we are thinking much more long-term in general because, again, of what's been going on and what we've been through. We just have a wider view of the world. But now your long-term plans don't seem, excuse me, quite as solid as you thought they were, right? So it's time to rethink it. And that's annoying because a lot of you are like, no, I already rethought it. I already did this. I don't want to go back here. No, none of us do, but that's where we are. There's a lot of this in this reading. That's Gemini season in a nutshell, right? The reason we're so adaptable is because there is, I don't know if I'd use the word resignation, but let's go with it. There is a resignation to what is. There's no way to change, evolve, adapt if you're going to deny what is. So this general feeling of it is what it is, we got to deal with it. We're there. What else? On the 29th, Mercury, wow. Mercury goes retrograde. It affects your speech, your communication. And that retrograde lasts from the 29th of May till the 22nd of June. So in that period, because it is a Mercury retrograde in a sign that it rules, in Gemini, you will find that your communication is even more disruptive. You are saying one thing and people are misconstruing it a million different ways. That so many misunderstandings are possible. You think you're being nice. People think you're being disrespectful. You think you're being helpful. People think you're being, you're instigating. So being really careful with your words, no sudden decisions, no blowing up at people, because every time you're the one who gets clowned later. Just don't do it. You really have to count to 10. With every decision you want to make, just count to 10 before you say anything at all. And then the last one, it's a big one, from the 25th of June till the 21st of November, Neptune goes retrograde. Now, Neptune going retrograde is going to ask you what you've learned from March 2020 until now. And as you can imagine, we've learned a lot. Now we have to rehash it all. But this retrograde gives us room to reorganize and to take everything we've learned, take all the different lessons, the heartaches, the losses, and integrate them into our life. It's been a bit of a treadmill run for about a year, right? So of course we've absorbed what we can, but we haven't gotten the room where the treadmill just stopped and we could get off of it and think, okay, so now I have all these new tools, I have all these new feelings. How do I integrate them? Jupiter goes retrograde and gives you that opportunity, and it starts at the end of June. So get ready for that. Another huge transit happening is from June 2nd to June 27th, Venus enters Cancer. The thing with Venus in Cancer is that all you care about is your family, your loved ones, your circle, whatever you've drawn a boundary around, said this is mine, that's what you care about. And that can get, it starts off sweet, and then just like at a family event, starts off great, and then after a while it starts to get a little icky. People's issues come up, people's grievances come up, people's resentments against each other come up. So expect all of that. Venus in Cancer is like being at a family gathering that doesn't end for 25 days. Family reunion. And then we have some oppositions that are really important. So from June 4th to June 7th, we have Mars opposing Pluto. From the 23rd to the 24th of June, we have Venus opposing Pluto. And from the 30th, on the 30th actually, we have Mars opposing Saturn. So the amount of clashes between what you want and what you hold secretly, what you love and what you don't want to reveal, what you feel is your right to do and what you are allowed to do. These things are all, coming up against each other. And it can be very painful if you're at the mercy of these transits and you're at the mercy of them if you don't know they're going on. So now that you have that insight, you can, take those dates and be like, okay, from this day to this day, I want to do this, but it's going to reveal more about me than I want to. Mars-PLUTO. From the 23rd to the 24th, I love this, but if I express too much, I'll end up saying things that I really want to keep to myself. Okay, Mars-Saturn. On the 30th, I really want to do what I want to do, but I could easily get in trouble for it. Got it. Relax. The best way to use astrology. Now, to your favorite part, or at least mine. I have made some extensive notes here for each sign. So let's go through them. Apologize. I don't want to look down the whole time, so I'm actually going to change these papers up so I can still look at you. Excuse the noise. All right, here we go. Readies? I'm in a Gemini season. I have to be prepared. You get it. Aries. I'm just going to read you what I wrote because I'm trying to make it as concise as possible so you have those little nuggets that you need from now until when the videos come out on YouTube, which will be on June 1st. If you want the videos earlier, of course, you are more than welcome to come join the Patreon family and watch your early videos there. So, Aries, watch your money. Keep your ego in check. Fix those mistakes you made in February. Fix them, fix them, fix them. Nurture your spirituality because your money is so slow. Take the opportunity to get out of the rat race. If you've been looking for a job and haven't found one yet, realize that this is a blessing because it gives you one more month to focus on your soul. Not that you can't do that when you're working. It's just easier, right? The big starred statement here, don't get jealous. Don't get jealous. There's so many things that are going to come up for Aries, things that are like, I wish I could do that, or I wish I had that, or why does this person get to do this, or I wanted that thing, or I wanted that person, or, why can't it be me? You need to check this only because it's going to stand in the way of what you're going to receive throughout the year. So you don't want to set the tone with this eclipse on the 10th of wanting what others have. Instead, set the tone at the eclipse by telling the truth. On the 10th, there are things you are going to want to say. Say them. I know I said Mercury retrograde, be careful, but tell the truth. Taurus, your emotional value is in question. You're going through a period where you're wondering if it's you. Am I too picky? Am I not good enough? Why aren't things working out the way I thought they were? They were going so well and all of a sudden everything stopped. What's going on? It must be me. I must not be worthy. I must not be adequate. None of that is true. In fact, you'll find that a lot of people around you have been adding to this narrative and you really can't trust them. So what I have written down here is trust no one, especially your ex. There is a very shady ex that can come back around and really mess with your head. And that's their entire intention, is to mess with your head. Because even though you may feel inadequate, it's not true. Actually, you're making huge strides and everyone can see it and they're jealous. Okay? Also, along with your emotional value, you've got to revise how you spend and save because it's directly related to your emotional value. When you're not feeling good about yourself, you overspend. So don't do it. I keep making that face. That's the Gemini season face. Don't do it. See where you sabotage yourself. We've looked at where other people are sabotaging you. We've looked at all the people you've had to cut off. It's been a long process, but now we've got to be really honest about where your thoughts are keeping you from doing your best. And a lot of that has to do, again, with inadequacy. So it's time to really get to the root of why you think the way you do about you. A lot of this has to do with what your family has passed on to you. There's hereditary insecurity here, or some people call it generational curses. However you like to refer to it, you're going to be examining it in this June Gemini season, okay? June, but starting now in Gemini season. Gemini! All right, listen. The reason all these flowers are here is because you're very much like this. You're super vulnerable, super beautiful, super attractive, and you can't get your point across. So people want to prey on you. People want to pluck you. People want to pull your petals off. People want to display you in their cases, in their vases, in their videos. But when you have an objection to something, or when you want to voice your feelings about it, because you are vulnerable, so you're feeling a lot more, you can't. Every time you do, it's taken the wrong way, and it gets so frustrating by mid-June that you're like, why doesn't anyone just understand what I'm trying to say? You can't use your superpower. And we know we have a superpower. We know how good we are at communicating. And then for a month you can't use it, and it's just difficult, right? But like I said, Geminis are the adaptable ones. We evolve. Just because you can't get your point across with your words doesn't mean you can't get your point across. Get your point across with your behavior. What are you going to tolerate? What are you not going to tolerate? Where are you going to go? Who gets to be around you? Who doesn't get to be around you? What are you responding? What emails and texts and DMs are you responding to? What are you ignoring? That's also a way to get your point across. It's a little more passive, but that's okay. Also, don't explain yourself. That's another way to get your point across. Don't say anything. If people want an explanation for your actions, let them make one up. Yeah, I did that face on purpose. After the 10th, so your month is really short, actually. After the 10th of June, you're just tired. You have this solar eclipse and you want and need such different things than what you did when the year began that you just need time to process, and you need some quiet, and you need some time away from all these people who are trying their hardest to misunderstand you. And instead of feeling beat up by the world or unsafe because you are vulnerable, just go hide. Go take some time for yourself, rest, and process. That's all. Now, I know you're gonna get sick of me making that face, just like people get sick of Geminis telling the truth. Oh, did I say that? Yeah, I did. Cancer. You are so attractive to everybody around you. You've got this as your top priority, and so does everybody else. Everybody wants a piece of you. And that's okay. as long as you don't make it sexual. Because as soon as you make it sexual, you're going to give them all the power. So just don't. Develop all the relationships that come to you now as platonic. See who you actually like. I think I said this last month too. See who you actually like. See who you vibe with. See who actually wants to be your friend. And then in July, right, as we get into your season, you can do something about it. But for now, don't do anything. Pay your debts. Pay your debts, pay your debts, pay your debts, especially before the 10th, the eclipse, because then things could get a little messy if you don't. No matter how tired you are and how drained you are, because when Mars leaves on the 11th, all of a sudden it's like the electric shock that's been plugged into you and been energizing you just gets pulled away. And poof, you know, there's this slump. It's going to make you overbearing. It's going to make you bossy. When Cancer's tired, they're bossy. When they're tired, they're overbearing. When they're tired, they think they know everything and they want to tell everybody everything because it's like, I'm not going to be able to control this. I'm too tired. So I'm just going to tell you exactly what to do because I'm about to, right? So instead of doing that, just power down. I know you're the mom and I know you want to make sure everybody's fine. Everybody's fine. Let them make their own mistakes. If they fall down, they'll learn something. Leo. No more ambiguity. Nothing ambiguous stands a chance with you in June. If they're being a little bit fishy, they're gone. If they're waffling, they're gone. As long as it's not complete and utter adoration, be it your friends, your family, your loved ones, your significant other, a potential mate, you don't care. If they're not 100% in adoration mode, they're gone. And good for you. Mars enters your sign on the 11th and you've got to revise your financial strategy. Make a solid plan. Your love and your libido collide towards the end of the month. Don't get carried away. Don't give yourself over to someone that you don't trust. That's why at the beginning of the month, when you sense that you can't trust someone, when you sense that someone is not telling you the truth, just let them go. When you sense that they're even a bit tepid in their feelings for you, get rid of them. Because by the end of the month, you'll be so vulnerable and so in love with love that those same people can get away with a lot if you didn't weed them out. Okay? And the most important thing, while Mars is in your sign, go after your dreams. If there's something that you've always wanted to do, go do it. If you've always wanted to travel somewhere, go if you're allowed. If you've always wanted to talk to somebody, go talk to them. You have so much luck and so much charisma and so much fire at your disposal. Use it. Just be smart. Because if you're the one making the advances, then there's no ambiguity. I know how I feel and this is how I feel. And you'll be able to read the other person right away. So taking initiative in this particular circumstance is great. It's really good for you. Virgo, fix things fairly. Fair and just is your only option. Anything else will make your life so much harder, and any situation you're in that's even a little bit contentious will get worse. The only door out that you have is fairness. So use it. It may cost you a bit, but use it. You're also in this funny space where you're looking back on the things that you've done, and perhaps for the first time in your life, you can see where you were wrong. And that causes this whole cascade of epiphanies for you, where you're thinking about your ex that you blamed for everything, and now you're like, no, actually that was me. You're thinking about friends that you've wronged, and you're like, oh no, actually that was me. And those realizations just keep coming and they keep hitting you, which is why I'm saying if you're fair and just, and every time you have one of those realizations, you're going to people and saying, yo, you know what? I just realized, I'm sorry, that was my fault. This may even bring an ex back into your life that you really loved and that you just now are in June are realizing after God knows how many years that you were the one who was in the wrong. Just say sorry. You'll also have a need in June, this overwhelming need to have some sort of secret love affair, dare I say, cheat, But even if you're not cheating, even if you're single, you may just want to do something crazy and not tell anybody. Be careful, because the implications for Virgos whenever they do secret things is that they end up either pregnant or impregnating somebody or getting found out. Like, it's strange with you guys because you're so good that when you do something bad, the karma hits you right away, except in these situations where you're realizing where you took no accountability and now you're taking accountability. So right now, accountability is like real close to you. So if you do something, you know, untoward right now, it's going to hit you back real fast. So be careful with those secret relationships. Here's the other thing. It's a perfect time during Mercury retrograde in Gemini, also your planet, right? You are ruled by Mercury as well. It's perfect as your planet, as your ruling planet goes retrograde, for you to finally, after how many months, perhaps even a year, find your true calling. And it's such a weight off your mind. You're finally like, oh, that's what I really want to do. Once you figure it out, get to work and clean up your work reputation. Some of you may have said some things you shouldn't have said. Some of you may have abruptly left. Some of you may have slacked and, you know, gotten laid off, or just gotten laid off because of a misunderstanding. Whatever it is, clean it up. Clean it up and things go beautifully. Let's move along. Libra. You're in the spotlight. Okay, which is great, but also really scary. Why? Because everyone's watching you. So if you outperform, it's great because everyone's there to clap for you and give you all your flowers and give you all the credit. But also Mercury's retrograde, so everyone's misconstruing what you say. So it's really hard for people to understand you. So you're in the spotlight and can have all the accolades, but you have such a hard time communicating. And when you're in the spotlight and you do something wrong, it's 10 times worse. So what do? You do things slowly. You do things one at a time. You don't work off of emotion. You keep it real close to the chest. You don't tell anyone your secrets. You only let them see what you have carefully curated and nothing else. Scorpio, speaking of hiding things, Scorpio. Money is a huge challenge, but it's a challenge because, look at it this way. The money is pulling back because there's some lesson that you need to learn that you can't use money to run away from. That's it. As soon as you learn it, boom, the money starts flowing again. Secrets are coming out, mainly about you, your family, who's toxic. Is it you? Is it someone in your life? Perhaps there are people around you that you've been saying for a while, like, no, that person is toxic. Like, if you guys only knew what this person was doing, like, I see it, but you don't see it, boom, it's going to come out. And you will feel vindicated. Also, some of you really need to take a look at your family. Some of you, and I know it's a very sensitive subject, don't say nothing about my family. I'm not saying it. You're going to say it. You're going to be the one in the most uncharacteristic Scorpio fashion. You're going to be the one who's like, oh, my family's hella toxic. Or what have I been doing? Or what has my family been talking me into for years and I've just been going with it because I trust them? What? Sagittarius. Lots of people around, lots of partners, lots of attention, lots of sexuality. You can just take your pick. And you know what? Money is slow, so why not have some fun? Just ask for more. This is going to seem like heresy to a Sagittarius, or it's going to seem like extreme shade, so I apologize in advance. Ask for more than attention. Do you get what I mean? I know you do. Attention's not enough. Stay cool, ask for more. Ask for more money in your work situation where you're like, I'm not getting paid enough, or what is this, or what? Ask for more. You have all these people around you. They want to date you. They want to sleep with you. They want to ask for more. What else? Aside from attention, what are you bringing to the table? Like, I'm not even the whole table. I'm the whole circus over here. What are you bringing? You can't just buy a ticket. You got to do more than that, right? Learn to express your needs. That's another way to say it, Umber. I had that written down. I should have just said it that way. But attention is not enough is what I mean. And how do you know to express your needs if all your needs has ever been is, if people pay attention to me or if I'm getting the attention, that's enough. It's not enough. And you realize that this month, it's not enough. So ask for more. You're allowed, you know. An ex can reappear, yeah, but unless you're ready to tell them all the ways in which they should have done more and they have to do more moving forward and still not trust them and put them in a, you know, holding pattern and a wait and see period, don't even entertain it. If you're not going to do all of that, don't even entertain it. Capricorn. Save money. Continue to save money. You have this tendency to spend to try to even make others feel better. Don't do it. And please, for the love of God, if you're still around chronically upset people who just no matter what you do, they're never going to be happy, they're never going to be in a good mood, they're never going to be sunny, bright people, leave them alone. Please leave them alone. They're so bad for you and they can have such a negative effect on your energy, especially because you may not realize it, but being around people like that is infectious. And it totally makes you into a different person. You may find yourself being jealous, possessive, salty, and it's not really you. It's the company that you're keeping. It's the company that you're keeping. So stop. Stay calm about money. There will be some unexpected expenses, but not too big of a deal if you're saving from now until the end of June. It'll be nothing if you're saving. If you're spending, especially because you're stressed or upset, then the unexpected expenses at the end of June seem like a huge deal. But if you're making a plan with your money, if you're saving, if you're not making any sort of outlandish expenses, you're fine. It's not about the regular day-to-day stuff. I'm saying you're going to have this want to like spend big ticket items. Just don't do it. Just don't. Just remember what I said. Just don't do it. After the end of June, after you've paid off whatever ends up happening, boom, then you can do what you want. I mean, obviously you can do what you want the whole time, but you know what I mean. Aquarius. Of course I had to say that because y'all be getting in your feelings if someone tries to tell you what to do, which I understand. Aquarius. Okay. This is a huge reset for you because I feel like you got going and you were like, okay, yeah, this is my new life. This is my new profession. This is my new thing. I'm going to do this. I've got my head on straight. Why is the money so slow? Why is it not happening the way it's supposed to happen? I did all the things I was supposed to do. I saved money. I kept to myself. I kept it under wraps. I did my thing slowly. Why is it not working out? It's just slow. It's just slow. Don't let that be a catalyst for your insecurities to take over. It's not because you're doing anything wrong. It's not you. It's the transits. It's not you. And especially that Saturn-Uranus square, that has nothing to do with you. It's just something that's happening to you. So don't take it out on yourself. There's nothing wrong with you. Things are just moving slowly. Your insecurities can be even more exacerbated by competition. In whatever field you're in or whatever side hustle you have going on, if there's someone else doing what you're doing, they're doing better than you, or they started after you and they're doing better than you, this can trigger a lot with you because you're actually very competitive. So that competitive streak, of course, has a downside, which is when you're not the one winning, you have a tendency to take it out on yourself. Don't do it. Don't do it. Also, please be really careful if an ex comes back into your life. As I told Taurus, as I told Scorpio, the fixed signs have to be really careful with exes right now because this ex is literally coming back into your life to play you. And that's it. Just to get an ego boost and then be gone again. So do not entertain them. The more you entertain them, the more hurt you're going to get. You're already sensitive. You're already in your feelings. You're already like racked with insecurity. Don't make it worse. Heal yourself. And that's not the way to heal yourself. Pisces. There's so much magic. There's so much good stuff that you start to wonder, like, I have all this power at my hands. I have all this opportunity. Am I satisfied where I am? Because right now I have this magic to make anything happen. why is this what I chose? Is this enough for me? And the more you think about this, the more you're gonna get to the question of who holds space for me? Who loves me? Who really loves me? Who really gets me? Who understands what I need? And for a lot of people, this is just such a change for you. They don't know how to deal with it. Like, what do you mean, who knows what I need? You're the one who knows what everybody needs. You're the one who holds space for everybody. Why are you asking now, or why are you expecting us to hold space for you? Why are you expecting us to have that sort of compassionate, unconditional love for you? That's your job. Jupiter in Pisces says, no, that's your job. And if they don't like it, they can kick rocks. And that's exactly what you're going to tell them, because it's all about tying up loose ends. You're not blindly trusting anything. You're going to question everything. Is this good for me? Are you good for me? Is this situation good for me? Is this dynamic that we've had forever good for me? Because I don't think it is. Because I don't see the reciprocity. And I know I've never asked for it before, but you must have known at some point I was going to call in this check. Like, I'm calling your marker. I've done this much for you. Where are you? And where have you been? And how many times have you been there for me? Like, I've been there for you. But instead of being sad about it, because of course you've had this dialogue before, instead of being upset about it, instead of being sad about it, instead of taking it out on yourself or languishing in it, it's very cut and dry with Jupiter in your sign. Like, oh, this isn't good enough. That's not good enough. We're not doing that. I'm not doing this for you. What have you done for me lately? And that's your June. So, parting words. If you're wondering, I'm drinking iced coffee. Parting words. So, I'm so sorry. I know I keep hitting you. I'm so sorry. It's very easy in Gemini season to say the wrong thing. Some of you may even be turned off by how abrasive I was in this video. Sorry, I just love making that face. Because the truth minus feelings is too abrasive. And that is generally where Gemini gets its negative reputation. It's not that it's two-faced or two people, although there is a huge duality there. It's the lack of emotion plus the delivery of the truth, which can seem heaven-sent or it can seem demonic, depending on where you fall with that truth. So realize that you're all embodying that energy right now. You could be the nicest person in the world, but in Gemini season, you're just like firing off these truths. And nobody's happy about it. So a lot of people have contentious relationships building up that kind of explode in June. The best thing you can do, very similar to the advice I gave Libras for their, general June reading, the best thing that you can do is realize that you are under a microscope and that every word you're saying is probably being taken the wrong way. So even if you want to express your truth, you've got to do a really good job of thinking it through and mixing some compassion into it. Is not going to be your first instinct to do so. Your instinct is just going to be how I'm being, and just like give it to you straight. And that doesn't always work. You lose a lot of people when your delivery isn't compassionate, right? So the patient has to survive the cure. Geminis don't really understand this. We're not particularly interested in the patient surviving the cure. We just want to get it out. We want to get the message out because we can't keep it in, right? We're messengers. We want to just say the thing. So you will have that impulse to just say the thing. But if you're not a Gemini, people in your life are not used to you doing this. And when you start doing it, they're going to get upset and their feelings are going to be hurt. So keep that in mind when you start expressing your opinion, when you start talking to people. Geminis. Yeah, everybody knows you're like this and they love you anyway, so you just got lucky. Just try to be nice. Try. and then tell everybody what's really up. I love you, love you, love you. General readings start today. They will all be on Patreon and they will be available on YouTube on June 1st. Did I tell you I love you? Happy birthday, Gemini, and happy early birthday, Cancer. It's gonna be a wild ride and I don't think we'd want it any other way. Love you.